University of the Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan. He's a renowned scholar and a lecturer in a variety of subjects related to Pakistan. In fact, his expertise is so wide-ranging that he can shift topics rather readily, as he was asked initially to do a topic on Kashmir and shifting for our benefit today to talk about NGOs. And in fact, he has written about NGOs very extensively in a 2005 book, which has the same title as his talk today, which is Aims and Objectives of NGOs to Pakistani Society. He also has written widely on other subjects, including the process of Islamization, the impact of Sufism on the subcontinent, and the Quranic concept of God. He's been a columnist for Pakistani newspapers. He's written extensively as a public intellectual, in addition to a serious scholar on a range of topics of interest to our students. In fact, Dr. Gondal, you may be interested to know that three of my earliest recruits, actually before I was grad director, but I helped in recruiting these students, were from Turkey, three women from Turkey who had strong interest in a lot of these issue areas that is part of your vita, part of your background. And Bilal, more recent recruit, has an interest in many of these issues as well. In fact, one of the things that seems to be happening with our department is we have an orientation toward the Middle East and Southern Europe, and parts of Asia, which I think is pretty interesting in terms of building a kind of dynamic intellectually within our program, especially since we had the merger with international relations, now with politics and international relations departments, opposed to separate political science and IR departments. My own work, my current ongoing book project, which I'm going to get to after I finish my book project that's due out very shortly with Routledge Press, is a project on NGOs. And the topic is framed in terms of the title of the forthcoming book, Deep Intervention, U.S. Foreign Policy, NGOs, and what I call low-intensity democracy. And in framing it this way, I suggest that NGOs are increasingly getting large amounts of funding from the U.S. state, and you can see that reflected particularly in crises moments when there's an unstable situation that the U.S. wants to address for security reasons or for economic reasons. The U.S. often funnels much of its aid through NGOs, and that's really the subject of my book, looking at the large-scale privatization of U.S. foreign aid through NGO networks. So you have an amazing 10,000 NGOs in Haiti alone, a small impoverished country which developed all of these massive NGO networks in the past 20 years, which is striking and discongruous in many ways because in the context of Haiti you wouldn't expect such a proliferation of NGOs. And then in other contexts like the former Yugoslavia, and Versada and I've talked at length about this, the former Yugoslavia has been dominated by NGOs, both in terms of supporting U.S. military intervention as well as helping to run the new states, Bosnia and Kosovo, to a certain extent. So NGOs have been active players at many different levels of governance, which makes a presentation of NGOs useful theoretically and empirically because it touches on so many different questions for all of us. So with that as kind of introduction, I'm interested to hear what you think about NGOs in Pakistan. So if you want to get started there.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Dr. Cox. And it gives me pleasure to be here at such an outstanding place of research and knowledge. And Dr. Cox made very valid points regarding the significance of NGOs. But my particular topic is aims and objectives of NGOs in Pakistan. First of all, I would say a few sentences about Pakistan. Pakistan is almost 6th largest population, and it has very high growth rate. Along with this, I would mention that a lot of hidden potentials like natural resources are with Pakistan, but the literacy rate in Pakistan is very low. It is almost 45.7. And Pakistani society, since its establishment, has been facing a lot of burning issues like social justice, conflict between religious thought and secularism and Western democracy, poverty,